Our members walk diverse paths to find meaning and purpose, but are united in our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all, and by the responsibility to express our faith through actions of justice and compassion. My name is Lynn Henderson, and I've been a member since our founding in 2010. Today, our guest speaker is Abbess Ayya Sudhamma. You will hear more about her in just a bit. Our musician is Mike Alec, and I don't think you have your backup band today. Are there any visitors with us today? If so, if you would feel comfortable, would please stand, introduce yourself, and let us know what led you here.
I guess I'm the only visitor. I'm Shannon McKenzie, and Veronique is who led me here. I publish natural history.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Today, I want to offer a special chalice lighting in honor of the winter solstice. Please follow along in your bulletin. As the longest night approaches, we honor the deep quiet that holds the seeds of tomorrow. May we welcome the stillness and not fear the dark, trusting that the turning of the earth will bring the return of the light. And we hope that it will. Yes. And now our guest speaker will have our opening words. Hi, everybody. So the Buddha explained to disciples that there are all kinds of ways that people could speak unkindly to you, and other things what people could do that would be very harmful, hurtful. And then he said, if that happens, you should train like this. Our minds will not degenerate. We will blurt out no bad words. We will remain full of sympathy with a heart of love and no secret hate. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that individual, and with them as a basis, we will meditate spreading a heart full of love to everyone in the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That is how you should train. Thank you. And now Mike will have some centering music for us, please.
Abbess Sudhamma grew up in Charlotte and left to begin her life as a Buddhist nun in 1998. She served as the resident monk in a Buddhist Vihana in Greenville, South Carolina for 8 years. Now she has returned to the Buddhist Vihana in Charlotte. Ayya writes an interesting blog, which I got an opportunity to read some of, covering topics such as monastic life, compassion, and a Q&A advice column called Ask Ayya, similar to Dear Abby. She even has covered the Buddha's explanation on why men are fascinated by women's breasts. In her role, she gladly teaches when asked. And so today we are fortunate to have her with us. Please welcome Abbess Ayya Sudhamma.
I'd like to, it's okay.
This way.
All right, so I'd like a little guidance on the time frame again, about 20? About 20. All right, because, you know, what I have in my mind about a talk on the topic of my personal journey would be around 3 hours. So I'll see what I can do. Can I have a timekeeper? A volunteer?
Sure.
Okay. So could you give me like a 3 minutes or 3 minutes heads up?
Sure.
Gotta start with paying homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sangham saranang gacchami. So it looks like I'm giving the Christmas sermon? Like what? And it reminds me of years ago. I was invited by a Hindu gentleman who was running a program for elderly Hindu people, like people's parents, aging parents, like day center for the aging Hindu folks. And they invited me to their Christmas party. So they had a Buddhist monk teaching at a Christmas party for Hindu elders, at which they sang "Happy Birthday" to Jesus. So I would just like to say "Happy Birthday, Jesus," and "Happy Solstice" to everybody here. All right, so trying to compress many stories. She's heard so many stories from me. I'll talk her ear off. This is my visitor from Germany, Aisachika. We've got her just a couple more days before we lose her to visa restrictions again. Where was I? Oh yeah, me. First of all, that title was a little more presumptuous than I meant for it to be. I just was throwing out a title and I didn't realize I was claiming wisdom. Maybe we could change it to Journey Towards Wisdom. That might be a little more suitable. It won't get me laughed at by my fellow nuns. So, okay, I'm going to give you a very short version of early days me, okay? I was born into a family that didn't want me and resented me. Told me that I was very special and better than everyone and not nearly good enough. So with all of that and some really super heavy things that happened, I was a volcano of rage by the time I was in my late teens, early 20s. And so I remember one time, it was around 1988 or so. People kept telling me I needed self-esteem. Like, what is that? And I called an old friend and asked her, what about the self-esteem business? How do you get that? And she said, okay, well, look in a mirror and say, I love you to yourself. So, and this is why I know the date, because I remember the mirror where I was living. I looked in the mirror and I said, I hate you. I hate you. I hated myself so much rage, so much harshness that I had received and was putting back out there and really hitting myself with. So that's early me. I managed to get into some trouble of not being able to stop drinking alcohol. And I went from atheism to, you got to find a higher power. I found a higher power. I was raised Baptist in Charlotte. And when I found a higher power through that program, I see some smiles. I wasn't going back to Christianity, but I embraced like a universal power sort of thing. I am close to 37 years in that program, by the way. Those who are interested in that, highly active in it to this day. Anyway, all that to say that there was a lot of change and transformation going on through that program. When several years after that, just kind of catch up where I was in my life at this point, newly married, newly starting to practice law, and planning to start a family with this new husband. And then something went wrong. Something was changing. I was tired all the time, weeping with fatigue, kind of tired. I quit that job. I blamed them for all this fatigue, and it didn't get better. And I ended up in the emergency room, and I ended up on a cancer ward, and I ended up with intensive care. Ended up with call my parents. I was in San Francisco. Call my parents from Charlotte because we don't know if she's going to make it. Kind of cancer. For anybody who's medically inclined, it was lymphoblastic lymphoma with a large mass in the mediastinum around the spine, metastasized to the heart, about the size and shape of a large mango. No symptoms about this fatigue that had been growing, and I had a whole new life ahead of me with all this medical reality. So medical reality included chemo that failed, pleural effusion, whole new category there, and eventual bone marrow transplant, autologous, and radiation to the chest, and walked away physically completely broken. My marriage was broken. My husband, seeing me go through that, decided he couldn't believe in a God that would cause that, and had a nervous breakdown, quit his fancy job downtown San Francisco, and quit me. Suddenly, I am starting my life over completely with a broken body, broken marriage. My career was over too. I couldn't even think of focusing on law. Now, I had a bit of biofeedback going on. If people talked about anything that was not deeply spiritually significant, I would get so exhausted that I might be in bed for 2 days. But if we were talking about aging, sickness, death, disability, spirituality, Buddhist teachings, if we were talking about any of these sorts of things, I would get energy. Go figure. And so back up just a little bit. Around the time of my diagnosis, there was one long night when I couldn't sleep because of the intravenous steroids. And I had met Buddhist monks. A whole other story. See, I got too many stories now. But anyway, I'd met some Buddhist monks through a friend this is long years ago now. I'm talking 92 and 93. I didn't encounter any kind of written material on Buddhism other than the occasional quote on a calendar back then. Remember, no internet like we know it today, nothing like that. And so Buddhism was completely unknown to me. When I first met the monks, the first question out of my mouth was, well, what was this Buddha? Was he an actual person or just some idea or a god or what? So didn't know anything about this. And the monk taught me meditation. And the meditation would change my very angry mind into a uplifted state, a blissful state. And that's why the monks couldn't get rid of me. Anytime they were in town in San Francisco, I would be there. The Thai ladies got tired of seeing me around all the time, and they stopped telling me when the monks would come, and I'd know anyway. And she'd say, "Who told you?" The leader would say, "Who told you?" And I'm like, "I just know." I would just know. And the monks would have to kick me out of the flat in order to shower and rest in the afternoons. I was there all the time because being around them, they had this quality around them. In retrospect, I suppose it's a force of love. But they had this quality around them that when I was with them, the rage and evilness and cruelty and harshness of my mind was put to one side. And there was peace and calm. And it was just really sweet to be around them. So yeah, the poor guys couldn't get rid of me. And but it was there in the hospital that I read something Buddhist for the first time, which wouldn't make sense today, but it made sense back then. I had a teaching by the teacher of the monk that I'd been learning from there in San Francisco, translated and transcribed. And so I'm reading this, and it said things like that wise people and ordinary people have pain, but the wise do not suffer. That is the difference. And that the wise are like a great tree that spreads its branches and goes through all the seasons. And in the summer, it gives shade to all the people, but endures all seasons. And then it also said something like that what the Buddha taught was how to not suffer no matter what the body goes through. And my body was going through severe pain at that time. And so the idea that you could go through severe pain without the mind being disturbed by it, without the pain of the distress around it, was actually quite revolutionary. And I wrote one line in my journal, "These Buddhists really know what they're talking about." That's the moment I became a Buddhist. And I don't know if anything short of that would have done it. Probably a little bit of a hard nut to crack. So then I'm getting well, and my life is a do-over now. The marriage crumbled under the cancer extremes, and my career as an attorney was dead in the water. And you remember what I mentioned about the biofeedback of what I could talk about and focus on without losing energy, spiritual matters, and all I wanted to do was focus on spiritual concerns full time. One day it hit me that if I could live like these monks that had given me these precious teachings, that would be the most amazing thing I could do. It'd be like this incredible gift to myself. And that very day, I had that thought, and I became very joyful, thinking I want to be a monk. And that very day, I met the teacher of my teacher. And wherever a famous monk goes, it's a photo op. So I got a photo in front of him, like everybody else was lined up to do. And he looked at me, and he looked at me again. And then I was standing on the other side of the room, and he sent a man to tell me that I couldn't become a monk. I had not said a word to him. He sent a man across the room to tell me that I could wear white and I could cook and clean for monks in the temple, but I could never be a monk. And I was absolutely devastated. And I wondered how I could have anything more to do with the Buddha's teachings, what we call the Dhamma or the Dharma, how I could have anything more to do with it when it's like this. And it later hit me that it would be a great shame to give up the best thing I'd ever come across just because I could not get past my own inner pain. So I moved forward with it. And I remember there was one summer where at least an hour a day I was face planted down in my pillow, sobbing that I can't be a monk. I had, oh my goodness, so many stories. One day I was walking across my room and it hit me, a date just came up in my mind as though someone had said it in my ear. And I'm like, November 5th, what? I'm like, uh-oh, I'm leaving home. It's time to go to a temple. And I knew I couldn't be monk-ish, but maybe there would be something I could do there. I just wanted to go live in the temple. It was time. And I gave notice at my home and my job, and I just went out there looking for a temple that would give a woman some kind of chance. But before I left, I had a stack of materials I had picked up at various temples I had visited, all these little flyers and leaflets and booklets, and I never read them. I just hoarded them, of course. And so I was going through them, to put some in Spirit Rock meditation centers. Oh, at that point, I was living in walking distance of Spirit Rock Meditation Center. Anyway, I was looking for ones to put into their prison project and others to do other things with. And there was one that had a photo of a monk, and it had an address in it. This is pre-internet, remember? I look at this, I'm like, address, monk address, this might be a monastery. Took that and put it in my address book. Let me back up. I was looking through all of these booklets, and something said to me, look at this booklet. And I'm like looking at it. It said, look at it. And I actually looked up and said, I'm looking, okay? I'm like, oh, monk, picture, address. Oh, okay. And then kept it with me. So I went overseas to a certain community in England that was not agreeable to me, and they were kind of mean to me. And I came home and I literally kissed the earth to be back in the States. And I traveled around various temples. I was at my parents' house, and I pull out the little booklet. I write to them, and they send me a newsletter in which it described how a woman there had been allowed to gain novice ordination, this robe, and then go get full monk ordination in India. Wow, this is interesting. And I went and I visited the place, and I'm looking around, visiting the place that night, that morning and night, that day and night. And then it hit me that I will be looking for this place everywhere I go from now on. And I ended up settling in there, and that's the place where I ended up getting my novice robes and my novice training. And then after leaving there, I was traveling around. Again, something told me it's time to go to Sri Lanka. I had no intention of going to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka wasn't much on my map, but it was time to go there. That was the country my teacher had come from, the one who gave me the robe. Went to Sri Lanka thinking I will serve the female monks there. And it just worked out. I was there at the right place, the right time. I have to tell you just one more bit of synchronicity. I had no contacts there. Since I'd left my monastery, my teacher didn't tell me where to go and who to meet with in his home country. I had one connection that I'd met at a Buddhist women's conference years earlier. I contacted her. She said, yeah, come, we'll take care of you. She's the woman known as the mother of the bhikkhunis. She was the one who organized more than half the ordination ceremonies for women to become monks in that country. I had no idea. Out of all the people in the world, I contacted her. So, and then I'm there right when a very famous nun from Thailand, Dhammananda, was there to get her bhikkhuni ordination, and I got in on her coattails. So that's how I became the first Western woman, American woman and Western woman, to receive the monk level ordination in the country of Sri Lanka. There's half a dozen women who got female bhikkhuni. They technically monkette. Or no way. That is absolutely no way. Drop in the bucket of all the stories I was going to tell. Where was I? So about half a dozen others that got higher ordination in the West, from the West, ahead of me in other ways. There's a variety of other ways, like through another type of Buddhism and then coming back to our Buddhism or whatever. But so, good grief. How can one even... When we meditate and we get quiet, just close your eyes for a sec. When we meditate and we get quiet, we start to learn the inner terrain of the mind. As long as we're moving even a fingertip, the mind will keep moving and moving. But when we're holding as still as one easily can, and close the eyes, we start to notice what a bad kid this mind really is, like a 2-year-old and a tyrant. And we can come to understand the mind. And when we understand the mind, we love the mind. And if we can love this mind, we can love everybody. And to the extent we cannot love everybody, that's to the extent we cannot love this mind, one's own heart, if you will. So healing oneself towards others and healing oneself within are the same thing. But it can all be done sitting on the cushion, learning the inner terrain, and coming to have patience and the kindness and the compassion within, no matter what. It's impossible today. You can open your eyes if you like. It's impossible for me today to say, I hate you to myself or just about anybody. Impossible. And in fact, I'll just be in a quiet moment and I'll hear some, in the back of my head, I love you. And in fact, sometimes I just say almost out loud, I love you, just to the universe in general. It's been a long journey. I fast forwarded through just about everything. It's 20 minutes. What were y'all thinking? But I just want to say something. On this journey to wisdom, what's really amazing and awesome is that we don't have to create a bigger, better self to gain awakening. What we have to do is remove all the unawakening. We have to stop doing the unawakening that we're doing. And if you were to be picking apples or pears or whatever, do you start at the top of the tree or do you go for the stuff that's easy at reach? You go for the low-hanging fruit, right? What is your low-hanging fruit? Is it the way you speak to people? What's your low-hanging fruit? Is it how you treat other drivers in your heart? What's your low-hanging fruit? What is it that you know you're doing that hurts you or hurts the people around you, or probably both? There's some low-hanging fruit there. So you change that. But then you go for the next bit and you change that. And you go for, and what about your speech? You go for the next bit and the next and the next, and you gain skill. By clearing away what's unawakened in our behavior, in our speech, in our thinking patterns, in our awareness moment to moment. And that meditation is very powerful for shining a flashlight on what we're doing right in this very moment. With that, we put ourselves in a position of profound wisdom arising. It becomes the default when we're not actively maintaining our stupidity and our harshness and our meanness to ourselves or anyone else. So I'm going to leave you with that thought.
Oh, thank you. Now is the time when we offer the congregation the opportunity to ask questions about what you've heard today and to share any thoughts that you may have on the message. So anybody would like to speak, come forward and go right
I
ahead.
just wanted to ask, do you have a book? Have you written a book yet? You're going to now, right?
You probably heard of ADHD.
Yes.
I started so many books. But one of the titles that I haven't used is Waking Up for the Wake-Up Call.
That'd be a good title.
And another of my great titles is, what was it? It was there, it was right there just then. I hate to waste a perfectly good disaster.
Anyone have any comments, questions? Anything you'd like to share?
Get a co-writer, but not AI.
I'm sorry, just say that.
Get a co-writer, but don't use AI.
No.
Okay.
Co-writer.
I'm Jim. We said hello earlier, and welcome to your guests. I was going to point out that we are in the process as a congregation of developing a closer relationship with the synagogue, which is right next door behind this adjacent house. And the impetus for that is that Rabbi Rebecca Diamond spoke to us on Palm Sunday. So we are a congregation that appreciates looking at things from different perspectives. So thank you very much for being here. And when my wife, Gail, who had been the scheduler, Pam's taken over now, talked to Rabbi Diamond, she said, oh, my calendar, so it was clearly not in Hebrew, my calendar says that's Palm Sunday. I'm not busy that day. So she was happy. She was happy to come visit. And in fact, just to follow a little further along in the story, we were all incredibly touched when she related the story of the children in her yeshiva school. I'm not sure it's big enough to be called a yeshiva, had been subject, all of them, to bullying, and very sad. And there was a discussion amongst this congregation. We have to show our support for them. And that was the start of us now planning on January 18th of having a luncheon with them and also inviting the friends from the meeting house. So these types of meetings are wonderful. And people react differently to people who look differently. I would imagine you've had some reactions like that. I would hope they would be minimal. Is that something that you handle and try to grow from? Do you try to use it as an example of the way to respond in difficult situations? And if so, do you have any hints for the rest of us who probably don't do it as well?
I'll go up to lunch.
Right. So some of the more interestingly kind of difficult reactions were from Buddhist people when the idea of women becoming monks was much more controversial. It's still controversial in some circles. But there was one time I was attending a retreat. A Western monk, an American monk, was leading at a large Thai temple, and I needed to walk across the campus to go get something from where the cottage was where I was staying. And I didn't know they had a festival day at that temple on that occasion. And as I was walking through, I'm walking through this festival, and people are like, oh, they're like shocked to see this vision. And they know it can't be like some kind of fake or making fun of their religion because I'm actually on the temple grounds. So they didn't know what to do. And this one woman was sitting there, and she turned all the way around and fell out of her chair. And I never forgot that image of that Thai woman who fell out of her chair, just in amazement. And the first time I went to a Cambodian temple during one of their big festival days, the women came all around me. And some of them started crying. And then they said, can I touch you? Can I touch your robe? Because the separation of men and women is very strong in, the monastics, from separation from women monastics from men and male monastics from women. But when you haven't had female monastics in many hundreds of years, it gets kind of lopsided, and it turns into women have cooties. And so women are dirty. It turns into that when you don't have a balancing thing. So they came up and they're like, can we touch you? They just, like, with wonder and deep emotion coming up to do this. And a couple of those ladies later became nuns. And one of them is now a bhikkhuni. So there are those reactions. A lot of it I just sort of have, eventually you just get kind of a screen. You don't really notice. But I've had friends walk on behind me and just be astonished to see the way people are looking at me. So they're walking behind, watching the people go. One time I was in the airport. This is, again, years ago, I think during Afghanistan, actually. No, that was later. Anyway, quite some years ago, I was in the airport, And there was a bunch of people in the military, young folks in military clothing, milling around. And one of them said, "What the hell is that?" And asked about me. And I said, I'm what you're out there fighting for the freedoms for. And they just kind of,
Does anyone else have any questions, comments?
I just want to know if there's a significance to the color.
and I just want to add one more thing. People who are in crisis see this, they know it's something different, and they come to me. I've helped people in extraordinary times of difficulty, just walking down the street. Somebody just comes running out of the house and says, "What do you do when someone's dying?" Something like that. I'm like, "Hi, my name is," like, there's, they see a refuge. And so there's every kind of response. It's a lot of times the aversive people just drive by faster, and so they don't get in my way. But the people who are really interested come close and want to know something. This is called the banner, the flag of the awakened ones, the arahants, the flag of the arahants. And so, another consequence of wearing this everywhere is that I can't be a jerk in public. It's really quite disappointing sometimes. You just can't. Like, you have to behave all the time. What was the question?
The color, if there's a significance.
There is, on two levels. One, the Buddha said to dye the white cloth in the jackfruit tree bark. So the monks would chop up the bark and boil it, and you get a range of basically fall colors. But then what color exactly you have kind of tells your lineage. So I could see somebody in the robes and give a educated guess exactly where they came from. So this is Sri Lankan meditative.
I'm sorry, it's what?
Sri Lankan, the country of Sri Lanka, that's my lineage, meditation. Because if I was Sri Lankan city monk, I would have neon orange on, or neon yellowish orange. It would be very neon. So this is this muted kind of a forest look.
Other questions? And if you'd like to come up, you can do
What was
so.
the first woman ordained as a?
What is the first?
When was the first one?
When was the first woman ordained? There were some individuals ordained in the 80s, 1980. Now, the first one was from the Buddha. But we lost the female lineage in my school of Buddhism. But they persisted in a different school of Buddhism. So the first in modern times were some women in the 80s. One of them, a very famous one, Ayya Sudhamma. I said I was the first Western. Well, yeah, in Sri Lanka. She got it in Los Angeles. So very famous. I don't know if y'all look up Ayya Sudhamma if you haven't. Her writings are amazing. And then the first group to do it and have an actual collective together was 1996. The next batch was 1998. The next batch was, both of those were done in India. The next batch was in 2000 in Taiwan. So after that, the ones who got those nuns who got those ordinations, they then started ordaining more women together with the assistance of monks.
You were 03.
I was in 2003. Yeah. So I was still one of the still
Do
pioneers.
you know how many? Most or what?
There were 400 in Sri Lanka in 2003. I don't know how many, but probably in the thousands. I just don't know. Probably about 60 across the states. I'm not sure. And then there's the female monks, and then there's our novices. So it's another number. I may not know all, about all of those junior ordinations.
Sue, did you have a question?
Well, is your outfit exactly the same as a male?
Yes.
And how, you said people, looked around and all, with a haircut and all, how do they know that you're female until you speak? I mean,
to me, it's just kind of irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, but I mean,
there's some people who look more. Some people look more feminine. Some people look less feminine. Of either gender. But the thing is, we're like another gender. We're celibates.
yeah.
So the whole thing is sort of irrelevant, except like when you're just, making sure you're not like, stepping on toes. One time I was visiting a Sri Lankan monastery when there was a large gathering of male monks and me. And so the monks had me sitting at the end of a table and everybody just casually like having tea and hanging out while more and more monks were gathering. And this one monk was talking to some other monks, like kind of at the other side of the table. And he was leaning further and further over me. And I'm starting to go like this, like, knock it off, stop. And the other monks start laughing and laughing. And they're trying to get his attention to tell him to stop squishing the little nun. And when he realized I was a nun, he nearly had a heart attack. He's like, ah.
Go ahead, one last question.
How much time during the day do you meditate, and is that time pretty typical for monks? And do you use, second part of the question, do you use some kind of mantra or when you're meditating?
Mantras are less popular in my school of Buddhism. The closest we have to a mantra is something like in, out, or in, out, or Buddha, the name of the Buddha. We don't really do mantras so much in my school of Buddhism that I'm aware of. As far as meditation time, it varies so much. It just varies. Like, how much time is there right now? But then there's also, being aware. Like meditation is one part of the 8 set of instructions the Buddha gave for spiritual development. So it's important. The sitting down meditation is important, but there's also, like, I'm being aware of my body right now while we are talking. Like, I'm talking with you, but I'm feeling my feet. I'm talking with you, but I feel the clothing on my skin. I feel my belly a little tight from the excitement of being in front of everybody. Like, I'm body aware. And so body awareness is this mindfulness. So we're developing the mindfulness all the time, all the waking hours, plus the sitting time. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Very much. And we'll have one more musical reflection. We're running a little bit late. I think Mike has got another gig.
The last one before Christmas.
The last one.
The irony of playing Christmas songs for a Buddhist monk is that I was born Jewish.
Well, I'm a Wiccan, so we've got them all covered.
But you know that many of the Christmas songs were written by Jewish people. Irving Berlin wrote White Christmas. And Johnny Marks wrote all that Jingle Bell Rock and Christmas, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. And I wrote this one. I only get to play it once or twice a year, but it goes like this. Knee deep, endless snow, across the fields, the mean winds blow. You light the fire, you make it bright. The greatest gift, it's you tonight. Just above the world to see, stars align for you and me. The wonder and the mystery, the miracle of love. Listen to children sing, open up and let it ring. Hearts are pure, their song is true. The gift of love awaits for you. Just above the world to see, stars align for you and me. The wonder and the mystery, the miracle of love. Snow falls, hearts rise, stars shine in your eyes. The wonder and the mystery, the miracle of love. Knee deep in the snow, across the fields the mean winds blow. You light the fire, you make it bright. The greatest gift, it's you tonight. And just above the world to see, stars will shine for you and me. The wonder and the mystery, the miracle of love.
Thank you. Our fellowship is important to us all. Contributions we make today will help us grow and sustain our congregation. Your giving affirms our commitment to each other and to our outreach in our community. If you're watching at home, please consider donating from the button on your screen. May we receive these gifts with gratitude. May they help further our values of integrity, compassion, and peace. And now if you'll look in your bulletin for some announcements today. Everyone is invited to the social supper after the service today. And Linda, I think you're going to Crafty Burger. Okay. Please note this one. The Heart of the Carolinas UU Animal Ministry has an emergency fence build coming up on December 27th for a couple of cute puppies that are really in dire straits. The address is in your bulletin, and they all volunteers are needed. And this is an emergency. Euthanasia will happen if we don't get a fence built for these dogs, I understand. And then the regular next fence build will be on Saturday, January 3rd. Feed and See, the next Thursday to slice, dice, grill, and serve will be coming up on January 8th. Volunteers are needed, and if you're able to come out and help, contact Jim Arnold. The UU Justice Action Hour is still happening every Friday at 11. And next Sunday, Pat Joe will be back with us to encourage us to take stock at year's end, and his talk will encourage everyone to eat, drink, and be merry. We will close with our song, number 118 in your hymnal, This Little Light of Mine.
The louder the better. This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine.
this little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you. And now we will ask Ayya for our closing words. Got so much paper here.
So y'all want scripture, or do y'all want like some like words of advice kind of words?
Words of advice is great. We
Nice.
need words of advice, especially
So this is a time coming up when people, a lot of people are gathering together with family. And so maybe not all your particularly favorite people. And so my thought is, how about you think of everybody you're likely to see and imagine it's the last time you get to see them. Because life is very unstable and very unpredictable. And who knows, they might fall in love with someone who can't come into the country and they just are gone. Now they're living somewhere else. You just don't know what's going to happen between now and the next season where you might see these people. So think of each one, think of their face. Imagine that they are as happy as you could ever envision them to be. Wish them to have joy. Wish them to be happy, no matter how difficult they are. Wish that deeply in your heart. And when you're with them, each one of them think, this might be the last time I get to speak with this person. And just have both of those, that love, that appreciation, and that thought, who knows? I just saw someone crying, it got to me. For some people, they won't be gathering memories. Not everybody has their people around them for whatever reason. And so I encourage anybody who is gathering with memories rather than people to see what you can do to be of service. It's so powerful to be of service. And it can fill your heart. Even if it's just praying for people, I shouldn't say just praying. Even if you don't have opportunities to go and serve in some kind of official capacity, like giving food to homeless folks or something like that, then maybe what you can do is pray for various people that you know need the prayers, or make a few phone calls to people that you think might be a bit lonely on this occasion. And I will close with just a little bit of verse, very short. This is from Dhammapada 16. Here they rejoice, hereafter they rejoice. One who does good rejoices in both places. They rejoice and celebrate, seeing their own pure deeds. In the Dhammapada 18. Here they delight, hereafter they delight. One who does good deeds delights in both places. They delight thinking of good things they've done. When gone to a good place, they delight all the more. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And now if you will look at your chalice extinguishing words in your bulletin. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Cool. The light does not want to go away this time. There we go. Go in peace. Namaste. Right on the nose.